Hello and welcome. We are starting off super well today. Why is my... What is happening? Everything feels like a big crazy mess right now. I had to deal with work. I had this, I had that. Loki's like, can I just have some snackies now? Could you just open up this new bag of snackies? Why am I hearing an echo? What is happening? Why? Okay, I don't know what's happening right now. I don't know why there's an echo. Everything feels weird. Can I open this snack sack? Hey, Freya Creepies. Hey, Goober Goobers. Let's see here. Loki likes those. What is wrong? Let's see if Freya Fruffers likes these snackies. Oh, she does. She's eating snackies out of my hand from behind me. Alrighty, settings. Can I... Audio... Echo cancellation is on. Stereo... Oh, it's because... Oh, Jesus. That's what's wrong. I was playing on myself, and it was picking it up. Alright, things are going swimmingly. What a crazy time. Loki really wants more of these snackies, but it's late, and we don't want to spoil our supper. So oh, that one watcher is me, so I can't even... Okay. Now I have no viewers. Maybe I should just play it on myself. Let's see here. Can we... Content. Let's do this, and we'll do that, and we'll do this. No, go back. We'll go to this page and this page, and we will be silly. Do 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 do. Okay, all right. Hey, Freya Fruffers. This is closed up. That one viewer was me. Let us go over and see here. And we're going to do our sewing lessons. Share screen window. This one, share. And is it showing? Show on stream. There we go. Do. I want to change the background to this one because I like it better. Okay. No. Ay. There we go. So, last week we were reading about buttonholes. So let's just go back. We did French knots, buttonholes. Let's start on this page. I don't think we're going to actually go through the sewing of the bouton holes because I don't have anything I want to sew buttonholes in right now. So let's just finish the reading here and hopefully we can get on to the smocking. So what does this say? The The cardboard for making a horizontal buttonhole should be the length of the buttonhole plus the distance it is to be from the edge of the garment and as wide as the buttonholes are to be apart. Having a mark on either edge of it indicating where the buttonhole is to begin. If a buttonhole scissors having a gauge is to be used, the length of the buttonhole need not be marked. It will be sufficient to mark the starting point only and the line showing the exact direction of the slit, so that if the buttonholes are horizontal, they will be perfectly parallel, or if vertical, they will be in line with each other. For a vertical buttonhole, see that both ends are marked exactly the same distance from the edge of the garment before cutting. In cutting buttonholes in front of neckband and cuffs, an allowance of about 1/8 of an inch should be made in the slit, as the buttons will take up that much. That is, make it 1/8 inch nearer to the edge of the garment than where no allowance for buttons are required. When making buttonholes in thick cloth, baste the cloth smoothly where each buttonhole is to be made, then put 2 rows of machine stitching or back stitching the length desired and cut between the rows. One should keep a piece of cat fluff. Oh, Freya Froofers, Loki, you startled her off. We're doing super good today. My hair's a mess. I got cats being funny. At work. Where are we? Who am I? What's my name again? All right. I'm Phoenix Electra. We're going through the American system of dressmaking lessons. It's Saturday. Thank you, replay crew here over on the YouTubes and also on the Rumbles. You are stellar. We're also trying to be better about posting our stuff over on the Instagrams and the locals, and I think that's it. All right, so where were we? No, or not there yet. Let's see here. One should keep a piece of that's right, this undissolved glue with their sewing things, and when making buttonholes in wiry goods, mark them, moisten one edge of the glue and rub over the place for the buttonhole on both sides before cutting. When dry, the glue will hold goods firm so that they will not fray while working. These baked salmon bites, they were really good. The cats like them. If this company, Caru, made with Nourished with Love, wants to help sponsor cats getting snacks at my house, please hook me up. Let me know. Where were we? Little not fray. When working buttonholes in a lace yoke or waist, first baste a small square of lawn under each piece where the buttonhole is to be worked. After working, cut away the surplus lawn around the buttonholes, leaving them firm and strong. Also put small squares of lawn under each button. A buttonhole should always be worked from the right side of the garment and on the right-hand side of a woman's garment. On woolen materials, work the buttonhole with buttonhole twist, being careful to have the twist one shade darker than the goods, as it always works lighter. Cut and work one buttonhole at a time, overcasting it immediately after it is cut. Begin without a knot, taking 2 or 3 running stitches on the wrong side. Then hold the buttonhole along the forefinger of the left hand with the edge of the garment towards the wrist. Begin with the buttonhole at the lower right-hand side of the slit, bringing the needle up from underneath close to the edge. overcast from this point on both sides of the buttonhole, taking the stitches not more than 3 or 4 threads deep, or 1/16 of an inch, but not any deeper than necessary to hold the threads, and in proportion of about 7 overcastings on each side of a 3/4 of an inch buttonhole. In lightweight materials to hold the thickness together, and also as a guide in the depth of the stitch. In making the buttonhole, a running stitch is made parallel with the slit on either side, as far from it as the depth of the buttonhole stitch. Be careful not to draw the material. 3/4 of a yard of thread is the allowance for a buttonhole of ordinary size. The thread should be long enough to complete the buttonhole, but if it is found to be too short, fasten it on the wrong side. A new thread is then fastened in the same way and brought up through the last purl. Proceed with the buttonhole as though a new thread has not been necessary. Begin working the buttonhole at the corner of the starting point, inserting the needle through the hole to the wrong side, bringing it halfway through, just below the running stitch, with the needle pointing toward you. Take the double thread of the eye of the needle and bring it under to the point of the needle from the right to left. Draw the needle out through the loop thus formed and pull the thread up at right angles to the buttonhole, which will make a purl on the edge. Or the thread may be thrown around to the left with a circular movement to form this loop. Before inserting the needle in the fabric, the next stitch is done in the same way. Care should be taken to make each stitch exactly the same depth and the spacing of the stitches uniform throughout. The end of a buttonhole nearest the folded edge is generally rounded, the stitches presenting the appearance of the spokes of a wheel or an eyelet hole. See upper buttonhole figure 15. Here that I can't mark it. No, go. Oh. All this fun stuff to come. We're only on 30. We're having a great time today. Today's stream is spectacularly awesome. Okay, where were we? See the upper buttonhole, or it may be barred by taking a couple of stitches across to end on the right side of the material, extending them the full width of the buttonhole stitches. In working vertical buttonholes, make both ends the same, either both curved as in figure 15 or both ends barred. In making buttonholes in heavy fabric, strand or stray the edges as shown in figure 16 instead of using the running stitch, and then proceed as previously instructed. The tailored buttonhole has a round end or eyelet to accommodate the shank of the button. Figure 17. Interesting. And is the most satisfactory in all respects for heavy cloth. Mark the position of buttonholes, baste the cloth smoothly where each is to be made, and then put the 2 rows of machine stitching or back stitching the length desired and cut between the rows. This eyelet is made a fixed distance from the edge of the garment. If a punch is not obtainable, the end may be clipped out with scissors. See top buttonhole figure 18. The second buttonhole shows how to trim out after clipping. The buttonhole should then be stayed with a cord made of 2 or 3 strands of twist or linen thread twisted together and waxed. See lower buttonhole figure 18. An end of this thread is secured to the back end of the buttonhole, and the other end is wrapped once or twice around the forefinger of the left hand and held out straight and just back of the edge of the buttonhole, the stitches being worked over it so that the worked edge will be firm and distinct. When the eyelet is reached, make the slant of stitch such that it will form a corner at the beginning of the eyelet, it being reversed at the opposite side or end of eyelet to produce a similar effect. The back end of a tailored buttonhole may be bar stitched, which is done by placing 2 or 3 stitches across the end of the buttonhole quite close. Then the needle is brought up through the fabric at one end of these bar stitches preparatory to covering them with little cross stitches, which is done by putting the head of the needle under and over the stitches until the other end is reached, drawing the thread tight enough to keep it perfectly smooth. The head of the needle is used in taking the stitches in covering the bar instead of the point, where it can be more quickly done. After the buttonholes are worked, their edges should be basted together with cotton using an over-under stitch, catching the edges just back of the purling. Then press under a dampened cloth, as all buttonholes should be, when the goods will permit, and before they are dry, a stiletto should be put into each eyelet after the opening becomes perfectly round, leaving the basting in until the garment is ready to be worn. Eyelets. An eyelet is a round hole made and worked in a garment either for a button or cord, the latter being used when garment is fastened by lacing it up. The eyelet is made with a stiletto or bodkin. Hold the hole over the forefinger of the left hand. Overcast it closely with buttonhole twist, drawing the stitches firm to tighten the edge of the hole and keep it open. Use buttonhole stitch and instead of drawing the purl to the edge of the eyelet, let it come to the outside, as the purls will soon fill up the eyelet open. So, this I know how to do because we've sewn lots of eyelets on this station, and there will probably be more eyelets in our future because I don't understand or like the metal grommet ones. So yeah, hey eyelets. All right, use purl to the edge so that it doesn't fill up the eyelet. See figure 19. However, the eyelets may be large enough at first to allow purls to come to the edge as in a buttonhole. Loops. A loop is used to take the place of an eye. Mark the places where they are to come opposite the hooks. Insert the needle from the wrong side and bring it up through the material. Make a bar of 3 stitches, one over the other, about 1/4 of an inch long. Work these closely with buttonhole stitch from left to right, letting the purl come over the lower edge of the loop. Fasten on the wrong side. Sewing on buttons. Use a coarse thread, taking 2 or 3 stitches to secure the end of thread and bring the needle up through the material and into one hole of the button and draw it down in place. Lay a pin across the button and work the stitches over the pin. If there are 4 holes in the button, turn the pin a little and sew across the other holes. After the button is sewed on firmly, remove the pin and pull the button from the material as far as possible. Wind the thread around the button several times and pass the needle to the wrong side and take several stitches to fasten the thread. Button molds. To cover button molds, cut a circular piece of material and gather it around its edge by a running stitch, and draw the thread up and place the mold inside of this. The piece must be cut small enough at first so that its edges will not quite meet after the mold is put on, or it will look too bunglesome. Overhand the edges together and fasten thread securely. A small facing may be whipped up to conceal the edges and stitches. All right, now to the part where I've been waiting weeks for, the smocking. I know they're going to say mark all these things, and I could. However, I'm going to use this fabric that's already pre-gridded for me to make my life easier because I can, and that's what I'm going to do. These are my sewing lessons. Excuse me, sorry for bouncing the ears out. Oh, okay, I should check. Sounds good. Your name is Phoenix Electra Circus. It is Phoenix Electra Circus. Sounds good. Perfect. Thank you. At the circus, all things are crazy and fun. Let's see here. Smocking is drawing fullness together for ornamental effect. There is quite a little variety of designs such as diamond, honeycomb, herringbone, etc. Many of the fashion magazines sell patterns of the positions of the dots used in, what are you doing, Freya Froofers? In taking up the stitches in smocking. It is very essential to begin work accurately. Figure 23 shows the marking and spacing of the stitches, and figure 24 gives the preliminary lines for the basting stitches by means of which material is gathered. These bastings are afterward drawn out. Use a tape measure or the square and mark every 3/4 inch space along a straight line. For finer work, every quarter inch space. Silk and woolen materials may be marked with chalk, white material with lead pencil. Make as many dotted lines as the depth of the smocking will require. The average yoke requires about 15 dotted lines. The width allowed for the work should be about 4 times that required when the smocking is completed. Thus, for a piece 10 inches wide, about 40 inches would be necessary. Remember that the success of smocking depends primarily on the gathering threads being run perfectly straight, each stitch being exactly the same length so that the plaits will lie evenly when gathered. When the marking is finished, fill a needle with a long piece of heavy colored thread, being careful to tie a knot at the end and pass the needle in at one dot and out at the next. Alright, so let us fill up a new piece of thread. I'll save that one for later. Heavy thread. Well, we'll see what if this cotton thread is heavy enough. We'll use our lessons from previously to make sure that our needle's threaded appropriately. We thread while it's still attached to the spool. That seems long enough. If not, we'll find out. Alright, then we need to tie the knot by wrapping around our finger. Twisty, slidey, pulley. Alright. Should I have ironed this? Probably. But I'm going to go to the second row because this doesn't look evenly cut. And I'm going to use the inner... Let me see. This has got little diamonds and then, squares. So I'm going to use the innermost line as my marking line. And is this a straight edge? And we're going to go start from the very edge because this is a... What's the word? Forgot the word I'm thinking of. Loki. Loki. Oh, that. Okay. And pass the needle in at one dot and out at the next. So on until the gathering thread goes the whole length of the dots. Okay, so we're just going to... Oh, there's my trusty workhorse. In and out. Been waiting to get to this lesson for so long. If this turns out cute, then maybe we'll have our smocking sampler as part of a finished garment. We shall see. Right now we're just learning our smocking stitches. And I do not consider using fabric that's got a pattern in it that you can use as your smocking guide cheating. I just call it being resourceful. Because I don't always got time for that. And I just like this material. So we're using it because we got it. Alright. How's it been half an hour? Wow. Time is flying when we're having fun reading about buttonholes, and smocking. I apologize for being a little bit late today, but hopped outside, had a visit with a friend, had to deal with a phone call, had to do another work thing, and when the office calls, when the hot potato phone rings, you just gotta manage it in my world. So I don't have a job unless the phone says scam likely that I can not answer it. Fortunately, it was straightforward. Not like all my funness from yesterday, which I also can't talk about. Oi, oi, oi. Alright, so this is just slowly going through and being careful where you put your needle. You can do this. You can do this. And I think the next thing is load up another needle and do this again. This is what we're working on today. I was considering going back through and, because I've been going through the lessons and chatting and like actually doing the sewing, but maybe for folks who just want to like hear the lessons and without all my random yammering, and I was just gonna go and record just me reading the lessons, because maybe people are just want to have it that version too. I can do that. Oh, I was gonna say Sunday Funday, but it's not Sunday. It's only Saturday. I'm not ready for it to be Sunday because that means it's one day closer to Monday, and yeah. Come on, creepy goobies, why don't you come sit closer to me? It's cold. I need a kitty to keep me warm. Do I need it to be this long to practice? Probably not. Am I just going to go through and do it anyway? Yeah, why not? It's not my smocking. My smocking needs lots of practice. Come on. All right, so this is going to be super exciting while I do this for some time here. Do I? Hey, Bugs Bug. Selvage to salvage. That's the word I couldn't think of. We are just going to do this whole thing because it's cute and I like it. Then it's 45, so it'll be like 11 and some change. Then we'll have it for a yoke piece for a cute little nighty something. What you doing, bug? Hey there, helper. He's my inspector. Usually he sits on this chair that the computer's sitting on, and he just watches over me, make sure I have nice fine stitches. Yeah, you gonna get tucked into my skirt there? That's fine. I think the people come really just to watch you, Bug. Loki the therapy cat. And he does his job so good. And we're almost at the end here. And you wouldn't want to use like super squidgy thread, because if it breaks, then that would just be terrible. But we're going to be gentle and we're not going to have any problems. Okay. Till the thread goes to the whole length of the dots. Okay. Done. I guess I probably didn't even need it quite that long. Then we're gonna like squinch it up here. All right, let's load another needle here. We are just falling apart at the seams, coming apart at the seams. And repeat. Is there? Let's see here. We need some tunes for this. What? That sounds good. Okay, let's try this. Let's turn the volume down. And let's see if we break our computer. There we go. Just a little something to keep us company. I should turn it down. Just in case folks with earbuds, I don't want you to blow your ears out. Does it say how many? 1, 2, 3. Let's see here. It looks like for this first one, they just do 3. So let's see if we can get 3 done and try to start this smoking pattern. So we got to lay these gathering threads, then stroke our gathers, and then do the smocking. This is definitely a multi-stepped operation here. But that's fine because I just love the way smocking looks. Just gives fabric such an interesting texture. And I'll link this playlist down in the bottom because I like this station. They're good times. Yep, I'm just doing the same thing, in and out, just following the X's. Trying to be careful to pierce just the centers. So I don't fail this sewing lesson. From that buttonhole section, I'm very curious about these buttonhole scissors that have this adjustable gauge for cutting out buttonholes. I do not think I've seen such a thing. I know, Loki, you're distracting me, so we gotta take your picture. What's going on? Just chillax. Just go back to chillaxing. Ow, porcupine. Yeah, this is so quiet much today. I'm just like, because this stream is not like my Sunday stream where I like chit chat about everything. And boy, do we have some things to chit chat about tomorrow. Should review my list. Make sure I'm ready. I got something finished to show off for tomorrow. I'll pull out the fabric that I've got for my next up and coming plans. Did I bleed? Yeah. Oh, we're not using fine white fabric here. Little blood's not gonna. It's just gonna get lost in the red, so it's okay. Nobody'll know. Yeah, when you're doing your gathering like this, make sure to try not to overload your needle. Sometimes the stitches will fall off. Okay, we're almost to the end of this one. And we only have one more line to go. Okay. Right, third and finale for this section. Oops. Thread your needle first. battery just die? Yeah, that camera quality because my camera battery died, and I just leave it. So I guess I will finish the rest of this for next week, and then we'll get into the smocking. Or no, we're just gonna sit and do this because I'm here, you're here. In the words of Emily D. Baker, we are professionals, and there's always something. All right, was this very well? It doesn't matter now. Oh, he just looks cuter than last time. Ay, ay, ay. There's always something. Oh, all right. We'll see you later. Bye.